Question number 1. How long have you been working on your art? Garza said, all my life, ever since I could pick up a crayon, I just went to town. I spent years of my life drawing every single day. I spent my childhood drawing as a coping mechanism due to my personal issues in life. Ultimately, this was a really good for my skill. The Flip Meister said, I've been drawing as long as I remember. I think I was around my junior year in high school when I began to animate. I started taking art seriously around that time as well, as of today. I'm in a third year of college. Fox Senshin said, I've been drawing for maybe a decade. I've been drawing since I was quite young. Question number 2. Do you consider yourself a professional artist, and why? Garza said, I consider a professional artist as someone who can make a living out of it. I did get a lot of money from commission recently, but I could never live out of it yet. But I want to dream the day where I can say, I work in animation in response to, where do you work? Instead of saying, I work in a thrift store. But I'm still in school and I don't have quite enough traction to go anywhere just yet, but I got hope. Sandra M.J. Depp said, yes, I have been working for 6 years for companies. The Flip Meister said, I'm not exactly a professional artist yet, but I have done commission work on multiple locations as well as some studio experience. I'm too young for getting my degree, so I suppose I can officially be considered a professional artist then. Question number 3. What kind of problems did you encounter through your time as an artist? Garza said, art has been a problem for me, mostly. I have Asperger's syndrome and ADHD as a child. It was quite a terrible truth, especially in my early years of school, especially when my muse was art. Unfortunately, for those around me, I had picked up most of my mannerism and went to speaking from cartoons. This, and doing it all the time in class, did cause some trouble and tension between me and my teachers for the longest time. Besides that, I never had a problem as an artist. Problems as a person, yes, but art has been my escape for my whole life, and I don't try to take it too seriously. It's something I love, and thinking too hard about it solves it. Beautiful. Mox Art says, well, I used to compare my art to others very often, and that discouraged me a lot. I still deal with that from time to time, but recently my main problem has been trying to balance my school life and my artist life, trying to find time to both study and draw. The Flip Meister says, it's really easy to look at other people's art and feel like you never could reach their level. This is especially hard to get past in college and art circles when your peers seem to constantly be several steps ahead of you. I suppose I managed to overcome it by learning to be satisfied with my own pace of progress. Question number 4. Do you think art school is necessary? The Flip Meister says, art school is a very tricky subject. On one hand, you will definitely find improvement taking several art classes, so it's pretty valuable in that regard. On the other one, art schools are pretty expensive. My brother's institution was about to half mine, even though he studied to be a mechanical engineer. It's very possible to get well-paid jobs without formal education. I've seen many of my friends do it, so I suppose it's a matter of whether or not you can afford it. Holiday Hair says, absolutely not. As far as I know, the only thing fancy art could have on the other college is that they have someone better connections and they work you harder, not worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt in my opinion. Cherry Topsky says, I think yes. You cannot base yourself on it's my style and so you must learn theory and know how to use it. Now let's go for the beginners, shall we? Dr. Meme Medic says, I've been working on my artwork for about 4 years now. Wax says, I've been working on drawing since around 5th grade. And Average Lab said, I've been drawing doodles for as long as I remember and I started doing actual stuff 5 years ago. Question number 2. Do you practice on your art and how often? Cornbread says, yes, I do practice often, but it varies. Sometimes I draw every night, sometimes I only draw once few nights, or so due to my busy schedule. Wax says, I draw usually once every day, so I suppose often. And Average Slab says, I draw a lot, but I can't really call it practice. Question number 4. What are you expecting of your art in the future? Cornbread says, I'm not expecting anything really. Nothing in life is ever certain, but I do hope one day I become an animator. Wax says, maybe comics or animation, but it will be more of a hobby. And Average Lab says, I see it as becoming something related to my job. Now let's see other popular stuff I've found in the art community. Every artist has their own art style, which makes the work unique. But what is art style? Well, in simple words, it's just the style of drawing that the artist used to create the work. This works to identify the creator and know how they like to work. Obviously, not everybody is born with a unique art style. For that, it takes time, and that time you will be focusing on practice. and that time will be over when the artist feels comfortable with it. But that doesn't mean they should stop improving on it. Also, sometimes the art style can be acquired from another fellow artist, which the beginner artist can be inspired from. I like my artist like I like my coffee. Sweet. Artists obviously have different personalities. It can be probably affect their public image sometimes. For me, it's really nice when I see an artist is tolerant, patient, and kind to anybody, which it can make the beginner artist and their fans feel more secure about themselves, and if their fans that are not artists yet, they can begin, and thanks to the words of courage that they will go far. But when it's totally the opposite, it can make people around them like their fans feel insecure, disgusted, scared or angry to them, and probably themselves, because there is a possibility that their fan/artist feels horrible thinking it's all their fault. So let's really try to move with that. The fans are the one most important variable for the artist for various reasons. It's nice to know that somebody likes your work. In fact, that is one of the main goals for the artist when they share the hard work. Also, thanks to the fans, the artist can achieve some stuff, and one of them is gaining money. But how they make money? Well, let me answer that. We have commissions. A commission is when you ask an artist to make you a drawing in exchange for money. Sometimes they can help them very much. One, they can create new types of practices and styles. Other is obviously gaining money. But please, for the love of God, never say this curse word. Can I pay you an exposure? You literally saying here, oh, I have no money, but I have 10 followers, so that can help. Just don't. The artists can create somewhere so they can get donations from their fans. For example, you have Patreon and Ko-fi, one of the most used platforms from the art community. This is pretty helpful for the artists because this is going to help them to get more far and, well, have a nice life. Sometimes the fan can encourage the artist if they feel down sometimes. I mean, everybody needs some love, no? And the most important thing is about the fans is that they're the best reason to keep drawing, improve and make them happy because they're going for you. They want you to get far as an artist because they love you and they're cheering for you. So work hard for them. Something really popular thing in the artist community are the OCs. But what is an OC, you may ask? OC is an acronym for Original Character. When an artist creates an OC, it's like their child. It's important and precious for them because they created it, and most of the time they can be a representation of themselves, and it can unite with other artists and have some relationship with them. And then comes the fan arts, collaboration, but that is not important right now. Well, we are all in the internet. We have the community to communicate to anyone around the world. And well, I come to this because as I said before, sometimes in the community you can have some relationship with fellow artists. It's incredible if you're a pal, it's a fellow artist, you can work together, make fun at each other, and more fun stuff. And this is what I say, how this can also unite people in a nice way. It can help everybody to feel very secure and happy.